So it's the Russian government that seems particularly uninterested in celebrating the revolution, or in fact the revolutions in plural, because they didn't want to celebrate the February Revolution, and they don't want to celebrate the October one very much. This appears to be related to, first of all, that revolutions are associated with unrest and turmoil on the streets, and all sorts of bad things can happen. Therefore, you don't want to put ideas into people's head, I think. Another thing is Putin's regime is uncertain of its relationship to the Russian Revolution. In fact, the whole relationship to the Soviet regime is a bit dubious, because the Putin people didn't overthrow the Soviet regime. On the other hand, they're not a clear successor either. Putin does, I think well of Stalin in most respects. Stalin is the nation builder. But what we now see is that he actually thinks much less well of Lenin and the revolution. He doesn't associate him with the same nation-building efforts. The attitude to the February Revolution, the negative attitude of so many, is quite interesting, because we would tend to think, well, okay, perhaps they don't like the Bolsheviks because they were communists, but what about those good liberals of the February Revolution? But I think from the point of view of many Russians, and this was expressed forcibly by Solzhenitsyn, the liberals of the February Revolution who persuaded the Tsar to abdicate just opened the floodgates for all the bad things to happen. The very downbeat approach to the revolution among scholars outside Russia is something that's basically related to the collapse of the Soviet Union and the general feeling that showed that the revolution hadn't worked, which is it's a funny kind of argument in a way, because 70 years is quite a long time actually to have maintained a revolutionary regime. It's a long way. It's much longer than the French Revolution did. And in this general sort of dismissive way of treating the Russian Revolution, including by people who've worked on it themselves for a long time in the West, some people have said, well, maybe the Chinese Revolution is the really significant product of the Russian Revolution. I don't know that I would actually endorse that, but it's one of the suggestions around.